Hello and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren and today I am looking at a weird history food video. I like these little food videos from time to time, every week. I think they're fun. This one is why did fast food become so expensive? I've been watching some of Weird History Foods videos on my own. So I was like, let's bring it here. I don't remember if I've done one of these videos on this channel before. I've done like a lot of weird food stuff, but I'm looking to see why fast food became so expensive. And if the answer isn't corporations just wanting to make more money, then it's probably a lie. That's probably the reason, I think. But I am not going to find out by guessing and not watching. So let us begin.
Fast food was the quickest, easiest, and cheapest dining alternative for people on the go. And it's still fairly quick and easy. But if you've been in a fast food joint recently, then you've probably noticed that it's not quite so cheap anymore.
No, dude, this isn't happening, all right? We didn't make it here and now we're broke.
What went wrong? Well, today we're going to take a look at why fast food got so expensive.
Let's go.
But before we get started, be sure to subscribe.
I know that in like other countries, like in European countries and like Brazil and like places like that, places like McDonald's are kind of expensive, but they're also like way fancier than they are here. Like they're nicer, like the food is better. So at least that is what I've heard from my non-American friends.
To the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other food-related topics you want to hear about next. Okay, keep an eye on your wallet because things are about to get a little pricey. The history of fast food more or less begins at a castle, a White Castle, that is. Founded by Billy Ingram and Walter Anderson, the first White Castle opened in Wichita, Kansas in 1921. Assembly lines were all the rage back then.
I think that I've heard of Billy Ingram and my brain went to Billy Graham or maybe Laura Ingram. So I was like, my brain immediately went to boo. But then I was like, wait a minute, I feel like I know about this because I think I watched... Did Fat Electrician do a White Castle? I've watched a video about White Castle before.
And Ingram and Anderson seized on the fad to come up with a now standard model for fast food places, including the limited menu, the fast service, and the low prices. The restaurant was a huge success and spawned a number of imitations, including McDonald's, which was founded by Richard and Maurice McDonald in California in 1940. In 1948, In-N-Out Burger would open up the first drive-through fast food restaurant in Baldwin Park, California. And with that, the fast food experience as we know it today was pretty much complete. But it wouldn't be until after World War II that America got on the highway to being a fast food nation. After the war, the U.S. experienced a period of unprecedented prosperity and built an elaborate new network of national highways. Americans were driving further from home on an increasingly regular basis.
I still wish that there was fewer like big highways and we relied a little bit more on like public transit and fast trains and that kind of thing. I think that would be better in a lot of ways.
And recognizable franchise chains became like familiar friends in a strange land. Fast forward to the present, and the U.S. now has the largest fast food industry in the entire world. Given fast food's relationship to obesity and various related illnesses, that may not be such a great thing, but
it's
have you
amazing.
tried fast food? It is delicious.
It's all right.
There are a lot of reasons American consumers fell in love with fast food. And it's not just the French fries, although that's probably a big part of it. For starters, there was the speed and convenience. Obviously, hitting a drive-thru is a heck of a lot faster and easier than going to a full-service restaurant. And fast food advertising campaigns have long targeted people on the go who are just in need of a quick meal. But over the decades, American families also increasingly became two-income families, and the convenience of fast food made it a good stopgap for parents that just didn't have time to cook anymore. No longer just for travelers, fast food started to become a standard part of many people's diet. While the speed and convenience were certainly a draw, it was really the price of fast food that the public fell in love with. Full-service restaurants could be expensive, but at a fast food place, you could feed your entire family for relatively cheap. And during the 1980s and 90s,
unfortunately, I kind of wish I'd done more fast food when I was a kid, but my mom wasn't about that. She was not about that fast food life. Like at all. We almost never went to fast food. Like the only times like we got fast food when I was a kid were like if we were on a trip, if we were going on like driving somewhere, and even then the fast food was oftentimes Subway. for a little while, it was Chick-fil-A. We would go to Chick-fil-A on the way out of town and Subway on the way back. But we never really did McDonald's or Burger King or anything. And that might have been because the McDonald's that was closest to me did get robbed a lot, and there were a lot of stabbings in that parking lot, and my mom didn't want to go there and hang out in that parking lot for longer than about a minute and a half at any given time. But maybe that's like fully unrelated. Maybe she just didn't like McDonald's.
Chains increasingly began luring customers in by offering extra value combo meals. Combos, as you likely know, typically include a burger or other entree, a side such as fries, and a drink, at a price lower than you could get them individually. It's not that much lower, but it was enough.
That's enough.
Because the rise of combo meals powered an explosion in the popularity
I miss
of
the
fast
99-cent
food.
meal.
The 1990s era McDonald's extra
menu.
value meal was pretty typical, offering 6 different options, including a Big Mac meal, a 2 cheeseburger meal, a quarter pounder with cheese meal, and a McChicken meal, each for $2.99.
I say I miss the 99-cent meal as if like I ever had anything to do with that. I really didn't. I did not. Maybe a little bit in high school, like between class ending and play practice starting or something. I feel like we sometimes went and got fast food. I only ever had the chicken nuggets from McDonald's.
As well as a McGrilled chicken classic meal for $3.29 and a double quarter pounder with cheese meal for $3.99. And of course, everything was supersizable for an extra 39 cents. At least it was until the release of the documentary Supersize Me in 2004.
Oh yeah, I watched
and that was the end of that.
Yeah, but that guy
it wasn't
lied.
just McDonald's. Every fast food chain eventually offered
That guy
some
was a
version of a
liar.
value meal or a value menu. And most, if not all, still do. That being said, the value meal of today doesn't quite hold the same value as the value meals of days gone by. In fact, fast food has gotten pretty damn expensive.
72%, dang!
If you went to McDonald's
Riddling
back
me
when they first
softly.
started doing their thing in the 1940s, you could feed your entire family for under $1. Taking inflation into account, that's equivalent to about $22 in 2024, which is a pretty good deal
Okay.
for a family dinner. Hamburgers were 15 cents back then, cheeseburgers were 19 cents, and fries were 10 cents. Adjusted for
full
inflation,
family
that would
for
be
20
roughly
bucks?
$1.75 for a hamburger, $2.25 for a cheeseburger, and $1.15 for the fries. But that's
so
not
bad.
actually what those things cost these days. A direct comparison is hard to make because today different locations charge different prices for menu items depending on where they are. But as of May 2024, the McDonald's located in the Southern California town of Downey, which is incidentally the oldest operating location in the world,
Oh,
charges about
cool.
$2.80 for a hamburger, $3 for a cheeseburger, and $3.90 for fries.
Wow.
So it doesn't take
Wow.
a math whiz to see there's a little more going on than just inflation. In fact, according to at least one report, McDonald's has increased the price of their food by over 100% over the last decade, which is actually more than 3 times the rate of inflation. McDonald's
But this says that's not true. The 5-year price increases are closely connected to the increase of costs to run restaurants, which have gone up. These prices, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I know that a lot of the time food prices at restaurants do go up because the landlords start charging more for the and if the price of the renting out the space goes up, then everything else goes up. And also like energy prices are going up. There's a lot of different reasons, but it's still like, but again, if inflation is going up, but they're not doing anything to change, how people are earning, because they're not, then it makes everything more expensive, but no one can afford anything at all.
disputes that number, but prices have definitely risen quite a bit. A medium fries, which cost $1.59 in 2014, is now on average $3.79.
Crazy.
In the same period, a 10-piece McNugget meal doubled from $5.99 to $10.99, and a quarter pounder with cheese went from $5.39 to $11.99.
Wow.
The McChicken, once a staple of the dollar menu, now costs 3 times that in some places. That's pretty pricey, especially for a place that was offering 2 out of its 4 most iconic menu items, including the Big Mac, quarter pounder with cheese, filet-o-fish, and 10-piece McNuggets, for $5 as recently as 2016. The overall
That's still
result of
almost
the
10
higher
years ago.
prices has been less customers paying more money for their fast food. And there is only so much a person will pay for a fast food burger. McDonald's seems to be the worst offender when it comes to jacking up prices, but they're far from alone. Taco Bell, for example, was once famous for having low prices that made them a favorite among frugal customers, night owls, and chihuahuas that like to party. But since 2014, their prices are up an average of 80%. The Doritos Locos Taco, which was $1.39 in 2014, now costs a whopping $2.59. A cheesy gordita crunch went from $2.49 to $4.99.
Because like I'm looking at these tacos. Look, I don't really go to Taco Bell. If I'm gonna go get tacos, I usually end up at a good place. But the places that I go to get the tacos are they're called Primo Chuquis and Linda Guadalajara. They're both delicious, but they also use like big old chunks of various kinds of meat. And you know, the tacos are about $3 to $4 at those places. Like they're not less expensive really, but the meat is so good. They're really not that bad, those like badly priced, like for what you're getting at the places that I tend to go. I'm like, that meat that doesn't look as good. It just doesn't look as good as what I can get for the same price or a little bit less.
And don't even get us started on the beefy 5-layer burrito, which now costs 132% more than it did in 2014. Even the Chihuahua would have trouble stomaching that. Meanwhile, the menu prices at Popeyes are up the same 80%. Wendy's, Burger King, and Arby's have all done a relatively better job controlling costs, but emphasis is on the relatively, because prices at those places are still up around 55%. As for Mickey D's, a Big Mac alone without the combo costs $6. The average value meal is over $10, and you'll have to shell out well over $50 to feed a family of 4. The result is that instead of being a reliably cheap place to take the kids, more and more people are starting to see fast food as a luxury. In fact, the prices have gotten so high, it's created an opening for full-service restaurants like Applebee's and Chili's. To paraphrase Applebee's CEO John Payton, why pay $10 to eat a burger out of a bag when you can pay the same amount or less to get an arguably better burger with all the amenities?
I like that he says arguably better, though. He's like, well, arguably. And you know what? He's very honest about what Applebee's is. I can give him that.
Sit-down dining experience. And you got to admit, the man has a point.
And dollar beer night at karaoke. Like, let's go.
So why the heck have drive-thru burgers gotten so expensive? Well, it's complicated. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the cost of goods in general is up roughly 30% since 2019. And that explains part of the increase. As for the rest, the price of fast food is mostly determined by the price of its ingredients, the transportation required to get the food to franchise locations, and all the associated labor costs. And as any home chef can tell you, the prices of ingredients have soared over the past 5 years and only recently started to cool. At the same time, increased demand for delivery since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic has driven up the prices of things like napkins, straws, cups, and food containers. And transportation costs certainly haven't gotten any cheaper over the years. The cost of minimum wage labor has also been on the rise, and fast food chains have to pass that expense on to customers via
that's something I will take umbrage at, because they don't have to do that. They don't. The CEO could take a little bit of a price cut, like a salary cut for himself. Like that is something that they have looked into. Like that is so doable. Could still be a multimillionaire, still be making millions of dollars a year, but taking a bit of a price cut for themselves to give their employees an actual livable wage. That means they don't have to pass that on to the customers. I do take umbrage with that. And again, there's differences when it comes to like a small family business or something. I am talking about the CEOs of these billion-dollar companies. They do not have to pass any prices on to their customers if they didn't want to. They don't have to do that. Don't make it sound like they gotta.
Rising prices. To hear a politician's spin on the topic, look to President Joe Biden, who, in his 2024 State of the Union address, laid blanket blame on unspecified greedy companies for rising food prices, saying, "Too many corporations raise their prices to pad their profits." And indeed, some corporations in the food and food service businesses have managed to make record profits in recent years.
That's also, I think, a little bit of you can't put all of that on that. Like, yes, I think that has happened. I think some of them did it a little. But I don't know that that's 100% accurate either.
McDonald's, for the record, denies any form of price gouging, claiming their profit margins are largely the same as they were in 2019. However, given their close ties to known criminals like the Hamburglar, we should all remain skeptical.
We should. But yeah, no, I would maybe just like push back on that one. I would push back on like, it's all price gouging because I don't think it is necessarily. I think that has happened sometimes and it's happening a little bit, but I don't think that's like the main issue. A big issue is that as prices go up, no one is making we're still not making enough money. Like where prices go up, but we're still making like the same amount of money as we were in like the 70s, the average person. So he's right about it being greedy corporations, not necessarily right about it being price gouging. It's just the people at the top not taking not making $40 million instead of $60 million.
That once prices have risen due to inflation, they generally don't go back down. So it's likely the high prices of fast food are largely here to stay. The good news is that the rate of inflation has slowed in recent months, so the price of fast food may have topped out for a little while. In fact, the high prices may have finally started affecting the bottom line. McDonald's saw same-store sales fail to meet expectations in the first quarter of 2024, and in response, they started offering a $5 meal deal combo. The combo includes a McDouble or McChicken sandwich, a 4-piece order of chicken McNuggets, small fries, and a small soft drink, which, all other things being equal, isn't so bad. Similar deals have recently popped up at places like Wendy's, Taco Bell, and Jack in the Box. Some media outlets have even started covering what they call the value meal wars. So there might be some relief in sight.
Dinner is served.
Yum! Dad's the best!
Hands off the McNuggets! They're mine!
The other bit of good news is that Happy Meals are only about $6, and they come with 2 sides, apples and fries, plus a bottle of milk, and, best of all, a toy. So maybe we all need to just start ordering Happy Meals. And who wouldn't be happy with that?
Don't they do an adult Happy Meal now?
Has the high price of fast food made you lose your appetite? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other weird history food videos.
Cool. I've watched I've watched a couple of their videos in the past, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. So, I mean, again, this one was interesting. And it was more or less what I kind of expected, but yeah, it's one of those things that, it's economics. It makes sense that things are going more expensive. It is a bit of a bummer though. It's like, I would rather spend a little bit more money on a good burger than $11 on a burger and fries from McDonald's. It's like, okay, fine. I will go and I'll spend $16 to $18 maybe on the burger and fries at a Bad Apple and have, and it's a bigger burger and it's really like with a lot more ingredients and it's a lot more like artisan. It's like I'll go and I'll spend a little bit extra at a place that the burger's actually really, really good. So this came out 9 months ago, so not too long. I would be curious to see what the the ping-ponging tariffs situation is doing to some of these prices. I would just be curious to see what the difference is there. But anyway, like I said, a lot of I don't like that they have to pass it on to the customers because prices have gone up. Nope, they don't. They don't have to do that. Not at these big corporations. That's just an excuse that they like to use to not take a little bit of a pay cut. They gotta keep making that $1 billion a year, man. They gotta. Anyway, this wasn't supposed to turn into a rant about that, but it did. So people are gonna come for me in the comments, as always, whenever I talk about anything like that. But if you like McDonald's, go get McDonald's. I don't know. This wasn't supposed to be like anti-fast food or anything either. So I hope that didn't come across as like, I hate fast food. I just never really ate it as a kid. So there wasn't really the nostalgia factor or like the quick factor, It's like, I'll just eat a sandwich. Just make a quick sandwich for like a grilled cheese. I don't know. Maybe I think part of the problem was I was never a big burger person until like after college. Like I didn't really like I mean, I just wasn't really a big meat fan. Like, I didn't really like most meat for a really, really, really long time. And even now, like, I usually, if I'm gonna eat something meat, it'll be chicken. Like, it's not really a part of something. It's not something I really, really enjoy a ton consistently. So I don't know. For me, it wasn't really a big deal when fast food went up, but I know that for some people it really is. And like the lack of the dollar menu was kind of, I remember that being a big deal. Anyway, I don't know. Food for thought, literally and metaphorically, figuratively. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Go enjoy a burger.